Hi, it's the Catholic CEO, Henry Kutarna. Welcome to this Catholic Business Wisdom series. Today's topic, what is the Catholic economy? I'll first begin by saying that in general, the Catholic economy is an attitude. It's a set of ideals in which Catholics deliberately do business with and push onto the wider community Catholic values. This is not unlike what the secularists do. It's not unlike what other ethnic groups have done for centuries. You know who I'm talking about. And it is something it's been lacking, honestly, in the Catholic circles for the longest time. It's not a parallel economy that ignores the rest of the economy. Just as Catholics have to engage in the world and be wise as serpents and innocent as doves, the Catholic economy proposes the same thing. We want to work within the economy, but we want to do it in a unique way. And we want, honestly, to be powerful in the economy. And why would we do that? Well, we want to resist the culture. We want to change the culture. We want to evangelize the world. And we can do it through our businesses. Just as we can do it in personal ways, we can do it in our businesses as well. A couple of different topics. I've got 4 topics to cover today with you. The first one we've just done. What is the Catholic economy in general? The second one, how will it actually work? We could buy together. That means we could join forces at the neighborhood level, at the parish level, at the industry level, at the diocesan level, at the deanery level, provincial level, state level. We could get together and buy supplies, services, products, raw materials, inputs, professional services. Why not buy all that together? Why not form a buying group and negotiate powerful discounts or at least interesting and good conditions for ourselves? We could buy from each other. Why not buy from a Catholic business? Why not support the local hardware store down the street that's owned by a fellow Catholic as opposed to the big box store that's owned by shareholders, most of whom are secular? Yes, you're going to get a higher level of service. You're going to probably get perhaps a higher price, but you're going to get care and concern, and you're going to get a personal level of service. And so if we come together to buy from each other and deliberately do this, yes, you will drive across town to go to the Catholic butcher shop, to go to the Catholic accountant, to go to the Catholic garage, to get your car fixed, to the Catholic-owned tire store. And they're all over the place. They are. You just have to look for them. And you have to make some inquiries, and you have to check out the values and the approach taken. We could sell together. Why couldn't we get together if we offer a certain service, let's say plumbers, electricians, or woodworkers, woodshop people? Why don't we sell together? Why don't we put events on? Why don't we advertise in a marketing pool? Why don't we have a sales group? Why don't we have ways to have public events like a marketplace, like a farmer's market? What if we had a Catholic business market for the entire diocese? We wouldn't even have to try to engage the culture with this. We could, and our advertising will in fact do that. What if we had a way to sell to each other, and we did it in the way that everybody else does it? The secular world does this. Why can't we do that? Now, you may ask, what's the point? Well, the point is to create the Catholic economy, and these are all tools of how to do it. Here's what else we could do. We could advise each other. How many times have you at your parish or just in your family relationships or your neighborhood or your friends or your business colleagues given advice to somebody? They come to you and say, hey, I got this problem. What do I do? Well, let's formalize it. Let's create a business advisory service. Let's create a business advisory volunteer board in our parish. Get the top 5 to 10 business leaders together, form a couple of groups, and invite people formally, not just informally and when things happen by chance, but actually make it known that you have a business advisory group. You're going to hear people's issues. You're going to advise them. You're going to give them the benefit of your experience, your perhaps hard-learned lessons, your successes, And there's no real reason why we can't do that. Of course not. Your real life experience is just as valuable as those from other professions who make a living and have monetized their advice. There's nothing wrong with that. I do that, as you know, through the Catholic CEO, my team and I. And the thing is, advising each other is an important method of helping to grow the Catholic economy. What if we capitalized each other? I heard the other day that there's a young man in somewhere in the northeast of the U.S. has created a Catholic credit union. Well, that's interesting. So he's following the rules of the banking system with regard to capitalization, reserve ratios, fractional reserve banking, the debt-based economy, all that stuff. But he's got a Catholic credit union. Now, I am sure, I'm going to research this a bit, but I'm sure that he's going to be sensitive to the needs of Catholics, perhaps in his neighborhood. I don't know where it is. I have to find this out, and if someone knows, let me know. But the point is, we can capitalize each other. Now, a credit union is like a bank in the sense that you're going to borrow money from the credit union. You might have a bank account. You might have a line of credit. You might have, maybe there's a credit card. Who knows? You might have term loans. You might have advice from the bank. You'll certainly have a personal checking account or in a personal savings account. You'll probably have a business account, savings account, a business operating account. You might even have various other services that the bank tends to provide. And so a Catholic credit union could help capitalize each other. Why not in every parish have a group of people, perhaps those who are willing to risk their capital, form an angel investor group and actually put money into some young person's or some person who lost their job for conscience reasons and wants to start a new business? Why not capitalize your own fellow business person? Yes, risk, of course, you could lose your money, but angel investors do this all the time. They're ready to lose their money. Why? Because they want to have a higher purpose, which is to support the entrepreneurial spirit and to build an economic system that has jobs and income and money and goodness and can pay taxes and support families and so on. So what would be wrong with forming at your parish an angel investor group or at your diocesan level? This is done all the time. Ethnic groups, socioeconomic groups, trade groups, professional groups, they all form pools of capital, venture capital, angel capital, and they find deals to finance. What better thing to do to form the Catholic economy than to send some young person, I'm thinking of somebody in their 20s who wants to do a startup, even if they want to open up a little electrical shop. Well, they might have to buy a van. They might have to buy a set of tools. They might have to get a license. They might have to hire some apprentice people in the case that they are a journeyman professional themselves. The point is, what would be wrong with getting a loan from the Angel Investment Fund? Or what would be wrong with, in some certain cases, having a partner, make an equity investment where you buy shares in a business. Let's say, making up an example now, let's say there's a group of immigrant women in your parish. This is a true story. I know of a city where this actually happened. The immigrant women got together and they formed a catering group. And so they informally, they cater events. They go to different parishes and they do events. And they make the food products of their particular country, their ethnic origin specialties. Well, I also know of a case where this went beyond that, and it turned out that one of the people who had a specialty in baking a certain kind of bread and also a certain kind of food generally started a business, opened a restaurant. Now, that's higher risk, yes, but the thing is, he had the guts to do that. And he did the usual thing that first-generation immigrants do. He saved every penny. He lived modestly. He walked, he rode the bus, he didn't buy a car. He did all those things that our grandfathers did, if you're of my generation, and which some people really avoid right now. It's interesting. But you can see where I'm going. If we capitalized each other, provided loans, equity financing, sure, it's a risk, but isn't it worth some kind of risk if you have surplus cash? Of course, this is not somebody that you shouldn't do this if you're not able to do it. But there are many people who have lived a middle-class lifestyle who have, and it's not just the boomer generation, but they've made some money, they have some money, and perhaps they could, along with, for example, 10 other people, throw $1,000 each into the startup of a company and lend that money informally, or lend it in terms of a parish credit union or something like that. It's interesting what the possibilities display. What if you had a grant program? What if you had in your parish, again, let's use an example, 25 people each put in $500. And so you'd have an amount of money that you could then give out in scholarships or grants. You could say to young people, show us your business plan. We're going to have a business plan competition. The top 3 winners are going to get $1,750 and $500. First, the winner, second, third place. You could have the concept then of encouraging and fostering the entrepreneurial spirit inside of the Catholic economy, and you'd cough up a few dollars to have a scholarship fund. What would be wrong with that? An essay contest talking about how you can build Catholic entrepreneurship. Have an essay contest in your parish and have even, a $200 prize for a 16-year-old or a 15-year-old to win a $200 prize. Not only the prestige value, but the cool nature of having a few dollars in your pocket paid for by the parish, by various people in the parish. So you can see, we could fund each other. This is something that we should do, in my opinion, and it will lead to the Catholic economy. Third subject for today, where should we do this? And you've heard me say already a couple of things. One is certainly at the parish level. There's no reason that why we can't do this at the parish level. Some parishes are small, 300, 500 people. There are parishes that have 10,000 people. I know of parishes that have 5,000 families. And so surely at 5,000 families, you could organize something with business expertise, advisors, buying groups, selling groups, advisory groups, capitalization groups, grants, loans, competitions, that sort of thing. Certainly at the regional or metropolitan level. And if you're in a big city, you've got Catholics all over the place. Many of them are in business, many own businesses, many are entrepreneurial, and they are successful. And even if they have failed in business, they bring valuable lessons. You have groups. You have the Knights of Columbus, which in most parishes have the charitable tax status, which allows them to receive donations. And so who knows, maybe the Knights of Columbus could receive donations and fund some of the scholarships that we're talking about, or make a contribution to a buying group or a selling group to help it pay its marketing costs, for example, or its organization costs. Need a facility. If you're a Knights of Columbus organization and you have a hall in your parish or a meeting space, you could host a business event there. You could create a co-working space where, every Saturday, students could come and they could work in common to start their own business and form their own enterprise. You could go to your men's groups. You could go to your women's groups. You could go to your youth groups. You could go to your, I'll say this carefully, there are prepper groups in every parish. There are people that band together to get ready for certain things that might come in the future. Well, they also are planners. They also know how to grow things. They know how to save. They know how to stockpile. They know how to think. They know how to strategize. They can help a young person, for example, create a business that would be suitable for that kind of economy, that doesn't depend on the corporate structure, that avoids the woke corporate culture, and so on and so on. Finally, what are some specific examples of what could be done, taking all these ideas into consideration? Here's a few. One, we could create advisory boards. That's not difficult to do. You don't require anybody's permission. You don't require a license. You just require good-willed men and women to form advisory groups, one or more of them in your parish, to advise people on their business. Now, you're all going to be afraid of having liability if you give advice. Sure. You have to be careful and give prudent advice. And you may even want, I suppose, to sign waivers and do all that sort of thing. But Catholics who trust each other don't need such legal documentation, because that only assumes that you're going to have a conflict. We are Catholics. We're not afraid to give somebody business advice, man to man, woman to woman, family to family. Secondly, we could change legislation. You could make it a project, not sponsored by your parish, but a group of people could get together and say, in my community, well, there's a law, there's a regulation, there's a bylaw that says this. Well, that's harmful to business. That hurts our independence. That shrinks our ability to form actions that take steps that are positive for business. Maybe we should start, as some people say, think globally, act locally. Maybe we should start taking over the school boards and the municipal councils and the bylaw committees and that sort of thing. And I don't mean that in a revolutionary sense exactly, but I mean that we see a problem in business. Let's speak up and let's get the rules changed so that we can be better. That's not only, I suppose you could say, the democratic process, but it's also a just process. In the pursuit of virtue, we are not only obliged to act in justice justly, but we also deserve it. And so what about that? We could create a pool of capital. We could do impact investing. You hear about it all the time, ESG, impact investing. Do this and do that and believe this and organize your structure this way and hire this kind of person and I will give you money. Well, Catholics could do the same thing. We could form Catholic businesses and we could say to a Catholic person, you must do something in your business that promotes Catholic values. For example, you must have an ethical such and such a policy. You must treat people fairly. Maybe you should close on Sunday. Maybe you shouldn't open on Sunday. Maybe you should do certain things that are not against the Catholic faith, but in fact promote it. I know you know where I'm going. We could create powerful buying groups. We could create powerful production and selling groups. We could do these scholarship things. So, in summary, the Catholic economy is a set of ideals that organizes our work, organizes our impact, focuses our advice and our capital in a way that promotes business and lets us engage with the culture, create independent businesses, resist the culture that way, support Catholics in this, and do it all in a faith-filled evangelical style where we will spread the gospel through the fact that we form ethical business practices and actually form businesses and start to create an economic system where we can be independent of the culture to an extent. We have to be independent of the corporate culture because at some point it's going to go in such a direction that you're going to be asked to do something that's inimical to the faith. You might as well be ready for that and you might as well think ahead. So there you go. What's the Catholic economy? I think it's an excellent topic for us to discuss, and I hope to support you. My team and I want to support you all in the search for the Catholic economy. It's the Catholic CEO, Henry Kutarna. Thanks for joining us today. See you next time.